Hello and welcome to the Stock Planner channel. Today I'd like to talk about trading the transportation sector, especially based on the fact that Congress has just approved in the last month or two the infrastructure bill, and that will throw some money into this particular sector. The transportation sector is not really a sector, it's just a group of industries within the overall market. There's no sector called transportation. Yet you can find references to it on the internet. Before we get started, I want to remind you that the Stock Planner channel is an education channel. We're sharing our ideas with the hopes that it will help you improve your strategies and trading. If you learn how to do it for yourself, you will eventually be a winner. I found out that sharing my ideas and trading style on the internet has slowed me down and improved my trading. My trading has gotten better since I started putting these YouTube videos out. While nobody can predict the future, I do believe that the stocks that make up the transportation sector will do well. So for me, what I'm going to do in this video, and I'm going to have to break it up in different parts, but I'm going to take and select some stocks that are fundamentally good in the transportation sector using various different tools. And once I get a list, I'm going to try to filter that list to about 10 stocks. And then those 10 stocks, I would like to do a test to see how good it performs with my strategy. I'm going to do a visual test in it and also a formal back test using another tool, OmniBroker, that I program. And I'm going to come up with a small list of stocks that I plan on trading in the coming months. I believe that the infrastructure bill will cause stocks, particularly in the transportation sector, but also in the 5G sector, with broadband and energy, the EV market. I think those stocks will do well in the next 2 years. So I'd like to come up with a strategy and some list of stocks that I can trade and utilize my belief, my hypothesis that those types of stocks, particularly transportation today, 5G and energy, EV energy, stocks will do well in the next 2 or 3 years, but particularly I'm focusing now on 2 years. So I'm going to try to come up with a list of stocks, a strategy, and a method to continue my trading for transportation stocks. So what stocks in this sector will heat up? I want to be a buyer in the transportation sector, so I need to find some stocks. So if you're talking about scientifically and mathematically and all that college stuff, you need to select your stock domain. How I like to think of it is a list of stocks that I might think about trading. It's not my list of stocks that I know and love. That is going to be a subset of this. Right now, I will use various different methods to come up with a list of this domain. It would be what I see on the internet, what stocks are in the transportation sector ETF, what I can gather from Finviz or another tool called Simply Wall Street. And put them all on a list. And then from that list, filter it out or weed it out. Let's get started. Now we're going to use Finviz because it's free. Now looking at Finviz, it's a free tool. We can see that there is no transportation sector. So there's no easy way of just clicking transportation and come up with all the... So you have to go search the industry. What industries are in what we call the transportation sector? Doing a Google, air freight, logistics, airlines, marine, road, rail, transportation infrastructure. That would include EV fuel stations. Air, rail, water, and truck. Anything that deals with that. So the problem with Finviz is you're going to have to go down through airlines, airports, you have to go pick these various different industries that apply to air, rail, water transportation, shipping, and infrastructure. And you have to do it individually. We're going to do airlines, and we're going to use... I'm not an analyst, okay? So, and I'm not paid, and I actually have another business, so I can't spend hours and days on analyzing stuff. So I'm going to have to use the analyst recommendation. Trust them. Now they're not foolproof, and I think you can be bought. In other words, bribed. But anyway, I'm going to look for airline stocks that have a buy or better rating because I think infrastructure is going up. I'm a buyer, not a seller. I'm a buyer for the next 2 years. And I want the target price, the place where it's going to get to be 20% from where it is today. And I want it to be trading enough. So the volume needs to be high enough that people are trading it. And if I was a poor man, which I'm not a rich man, but not a poor man either, but and I'm looking for lower price stocks, I would go ahead and set the price here to be under $20, under $40, under $50. But I'm not going to do that. But I want it to be over $10. So let's see what it comes up with. Alaska Air Group. This is Frontier, and I don't know what this is. But I'm going to go back and set this to be not over $10 because I'm currently in Mesa at a loss. So, and I have a lot of faith in Mesa. But I bought it up here, and now it's down here. I think I have around 400 shares. Mesa, thought it was going up, and went down. So I'm going to write these three down. Mesa, Frontier, and Alaska as my start. Oh, by the way, to get these charts here, I clicked on this. You can go over here, an overview, and get a list like that. And you can go ahead and check out various different aspects of this stock. So the next one you would do is maybe rail. Using the same criteria, buy or better, over 500, 220% above the price. And we get nothing. Does that mean we should change our criteria? We probably could. It's up to you. I'm not changing it. So you must go down through the list, picking your industries out that you think are in the transportation section. There's another way of doing it. I'm going to use another tool. That some aspects of it are free, but I'm using a paid version. I think it's around $10 a month. Simply Wall Street, and I'm going to look for the big green snowflake. It's a graphical screener, and I like pictures again because I'm not an analyst or financial analyst from Wharton or Harvard. So I have to just use the tools that are available to me because I have other job and I don't have that background. I have a computer background. Okay, so I'm Simply Wall Street. I'm going to use their screener. This is a snowflake. You're looking for big green snowflakes if you want good companies, and that's what I like. I favor good companies. I would go through. This is a healthy company with a future looks bright. It's Telsa, Amazon. So I'd go for those. So, but Apple, the growth is not going to be so hot. So yeah, the future growth. See, and I can kind of tell just by looking at snowflake without going doing a lot of analysis. But then you can go further in depth, like this one, Microsoft, and then it gives you a lot of information. The competitors. I love the valuation part. It says it's currently undervalued. It should get up to that 479. But let's do a new screen. I want just U.S. stocks or trading on the U.S. stock exchange. I'm going to filter by industry, and I'm going to see if transportation is on here. Yeah, there it is. And I'm not interested in oil and gas or 5G, but the infrastructure bill is going to cover that as well. I'm looking for transportation stocks. And there's 145 companies. And I can go down this list. FedEx is one that I had on my list before, and I'll put it on the list again. But 145 is too much. So let's bring it down a little bit. We're going to trade stocks that have a market cap of at least $100 million. Big companies. And that brought it down to 60. Share price we're not going to do because I didn't do it over in Finviz. We're not looking for value stocks because it's going to be hard to find undervalued stocks, but you could. And we want some growth to the company. 39 companies. Not necessarily interested in past performance. And you could have searched for debt to equity, making it profitable and that kind of thing, but we're going to look at that from our snowflake point of view. There's FedEx. I like Union Pacific. We want the future. I have a current trade in SIM, so let's put that on. Starbucks. This is a shipping company with Ocean, but the future don't look bright. SBLK. I know that's on my watch list. Ooh, that's big and forward. Martin Transport. Looks good to me. I'd like to see bigger futures over here. This can look like a future. Let's put that on. CMRE. Taking another quick look. Let's put these two rail lines on. Norfolk Southern and Union Pacific. And I'm going to put UPS on as well. There's Delta Airlines. Future looks bright. Hey, what do we have? We just had COVA. Future looks bright for it. I'm going back down the list. UAL, you could put on there. And Night Swift. Even though the future, I would like to have a little more. It's one that I know. KNX. Okay. And Google is always your friend. 7 transportation stocks to buy now, according to Kiplinger. When was this article written? October, about 3 months ago. UPS, there it is. We have it on our list. Union Pacific, we have that on our list. Uber, we're going to add it. And it's because, based on the economy changing, I think that Uber is going to do a lot of transportation and delivery services as well. And so I think it's going to be more than just picking up people. Their software and all that stuff is changing to adapt to a new society. There's Delta. We have it on. XPO Logistics. We do not have it on. Let's stick it on there and then see how it looks like out later. MATX. Shipping. And Atlas. And we'll stick it on right now, although I'm not familiar with it. I usually like to pick stocks that I'm familiar with. And here is it. Another article from Yahoo. Motley Fool has an article as well. And I think we have enough stocks. These are different than the ones we selected. The iShares ETF, IYT, it's one that I follow. There's its performance. It owns 50 stocks. What are they? Union Pacific, FedEx, CSX. We don't have that on there. I want to put it on. I like that. Love Airlines, always liked it in the past. Delta, there it is. And you can go down through. There's 54. You can go down through the list and find them stocks to JP Hunt, United Airlines. So, we're setting our domain. We got a list of stocks. We wrote them down on a piece of paper. And here's what it looks like. Here's the list. Can you read my writing? Well, it doesn't matter. Okay, I can read it. How do you do your list? Anyway, what we've done so far is we've tried to gather a list of stocks that other people are trading in the transportation sector, so-called sector. And we're trying to find some good stocks, fundamentally. Now we're going to later on, going to look technically, and we're going to do some back testing. But right now we want to try to find some stocks that have good fundamentals and really only have about 10 grand to spend in this sector, a small amount. So we can't trade 20 stocks. I'm assuming that most of the people watching this video is going to have around 10 grand, maybe $5,000 and $5,000 in margin, $10,000. You got to get this list down. And you may or may not know anything about some of it. Some of these names I do know. And I was looking for names that I did know. I guess that's fundamental. So we have to go to the next step, which is to eliminate some of these. And I'm going to use a tool called Tipranks. We'll look at Zim because I have a trade in this. This is Zim, Integrated Shipping Services, Transportation. 3 analysts are covering it. And they're saying it should be a target price in 1 year, 12 months, is around $73, a high of $173. That's a big range. Currently trading at 74, so they're saying the average could go down. I'm not using this as a criteria because I'm going to later on decide whether it trades well with my indicators that or strategy that I'm using. All I'm trying to do right now is get a list of transportation stocks that I think are going up fundamentally. So I'm not using this criteria. I'm not using the ranking or the analyst rating. I'm just going to use the stock analysis. And I'm looking for stocks that are trading 7 or above. 7 or above. And this is a 10 stock. And I like hedge fund activity increasing. That's not going to be a criteria. I'm going to just use the ranking, the Tipranks ranking of 7 or above to try to eliminate my list of stocks. In other words, good companies, they're fundamentally sound that I'd like to trade. And so you have to go down through your list that you just wrote out and check each company. And then I'm going to put a check mark against Zim. And the next one I'm going to look at is FDX, FedEx. Each person's going to filter this list out differently. You may decide, hey, I want to only put strong buys and a target rating. This is what it's been doing. Let's look at and it's a 9. It's been flopping around. So FedEx is on my list. And you just go down the list of all those 21 stocks. Take you a few minutes. Each trader will use different criteria to filter their stock list. Well, using the Tipranks tool took about 20 minutes to go through the list. And I put X's where it didn't meet the ranking of 7. And I circled where they had a number 10 out of 10, which is great. Since they gave it 10 out of 10, I might as well use those stocks. Zim was one of them. UPS, Delta, CNX, CSX, and then I wrote nines when it hit a 9. Might as well use the 9s. XPO, Hunt, Transportation, and their check marks had a 7 and above, but I only went 10 or 11. Mesa, which I have a losing trade in of about 4 shares, had a 7 and above, but since I have a trade in it, since I'm doing this for me, I'm going to include that. And the 9s and the circles, and I'm going to come up with a watch list of 11 stocks. Coming over to Trading View and clicking on this icon here, which is the watch list, I'm going to see if I have a transportation watch list, and I do not. So I'm going to create a new list. This is Trading View. It's free. You can do a lot of things, including build a watch list, and my settings for the indicators and my settings that I'm using are in the description below. Let's call this transportation. We're setting ourselves up for the next step in part 2, which we're going to do is we're going to look at the stock, and we're going to add the stocks. The first one on the list is Zim, and you go down and type these in and create your watch list. Zim and FedEx are on the list now. I'm going to finish the list. So I typed them in, and here's the list. To Trading View, you would create this watch list in your brokers. I'm going to also create this watch list on my back testing software. And what we've done in this part, the first part, is we found stocks in the transportation sector that are fundamentally sound and put them on a list. The next step, and the reason why we have to do it in Trading View, because we're going to look at these charts and see if they are trading or swinging quite nicely. This is a zigzag, and we're going to visually look at that. And we're going to see how our other indicators work. This is the MACD, stochastics, and the RSI. You may be trading with different other indicators. Anyway, we're going to visually look at it and see if the stock that we've chosen trades well with our chosen indicators. This is Mesa, and I thought the stock was going to go up based on my indicators, and put a trade on and ended up owning it, 400 shares, and it went down. Now, I believe in the long term it's going to go up. That's what I put the line there. That's my belief. And this particular stock I think had a 10. But, man, it had a bad earnings report, and boy, oh boy. Anyway, our next stage is to look at this technically. We looked at the stocks fundamentally. Now we're going to look at them technically. Stay tuned, because I think you're going to like this. Stay tuned for part 2, and make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss out. You can apply these techniques to any sector, and I think you can make some money. Catch you on the flip.